Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scots on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the Gordon College cross-country and track and field programs. In this episode, we are returning from spring break. We're back from Myrtle Beach. Well, you all are back from Myrtle Beach. I didn't go anywhere, but that's beside the point here. Noah Prince is going to join us in just a moment. But first, as always, Coach Miela, normally I ask how you're doing. I know you were telling me, though, last week you were exhausted from all the logistics of the trip, but how's it been?
I certainly still am tired, but tired for good reason, you know. So things are good. Excited to get back into the flow of things. This trip was something that I think we started dreaming about last spring break, so it's been at least a year in the making, and just the fact that it came and went and was as smooth and successful as it was, I think is a huge relief.
I still can't believe you guys went to Wawa.
Yeah, that was our first stop, man.
I know, yeah.
Like down in PA. We went across this very narrow bridge. Sorry, green vans. I think just about every van bumped the side of that bridge trying to make it across. But yeah, no, we were very very efficient on the way down. On the way back up, it was just get home, baby. You know.
Yeah.
So
I know that feeling. From road trips down to Florida and back. But
yeah.
It's been almost 3 months since I've been to a Wawa, so I was
Dude,
just as jealous about that as I was.
I didn't even realize,
you guys
man.
enjoying the sunshine and everything down in Myrtle Beach.
I would have brought you some Wawa mac and cheese or something like that. What's your favorite?
Mac and cheese, quesadillas, hoagies are. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, welcome, Noah. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to finally have you on. I know you've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, I've been waiting my entire life. 22 years,
To be on
this podcast.
The Scots on the Run podcast.
Yeah. Before I even knew it existed, I knew I needed to be on it.
That's right. That's right, man. Well, we're happy to have you. So, why don't we start there? Where did your desire to be on the podcast come from? Where do you think that is?
Well, I saw a bunch of my cool friends and my teammates getting on the podcast, and naturally, the jealous little girl inside of me really wanted to be on a podcast because I like talking to people.
Sure.
And so, I wanted to get on it, and thankfully my performances have now, met the standard, or meeting the standard.
That's right. That's right. Well, we certainly do have a high standard of who we bring on the podcast, as you can tell, if you just scroll through all our episodes, which I know you're an avid listener, I'm sure.
100%.
Speaking of which, what is your favorite episode?
Favorite episode is the one with Liv on it. Shout out my teammate Liv.
Yeah.
Girl boss.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of great points.
Yeah.
She gave in that.
I bet.
A lot of great points.
I bet, man. Yeah. Well, talking about your performances, why don't we start there? Because I know I'd still like to get your thoughts on the trip and everything, but why don't we start, what was it, Saturday morning? We're at Myrtle Beach. Okay, so you wake up, you're feeling good. Did you know you were going to have a 3-meter PR in the discus when you woke up in the morning? Or
I was feeling dangerous, Coach.
Yeah?
I was feeling dangerous. I woke up, I was hyped the night before, I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 5:45.
Like Christmas morning, baby.
Yeah, I know. We had to be out by 8. I always like to get a huge meal in, and I was like, and the meal was just hitting.
What was the huge meal?
The huge meal was, I yelled at everyone and said that if you touched my ground beef from the night before, I was not going to be a happy camper. So I had 12 ounces of ground beef, and then I had a full bagel. I had some snacks with it too. I had pounded food. I was hungry.
Yeah.
I guess I was a nervous eater, so I was just hammering food, and I had that feeling. I knew it was gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
It's practice that week.
Yeah, you were locked in, man. So, running joke with all the guys on the team is, you throw this line at the end. You say, "Oh, it could be the difference." You guys just say that. You say that all the time. Hey, you take your sweats off, and you finally get in the circle without your sweats off. You're like, hey, this could be the difference, right?
Yeah.
So, actually answer that question though. What made the difference this time around that made you have that breakthrough?
Well, I took my ADHD meds to start off. That was a big help.
Good start.
I could focus. But really, I think the biggest difference for me was just the week of practice was awesome. Having conditions where we could finally release a disc like it should be released.
Sure.
And just the circle was beautiful, the field was beautiful, everything about it was awesome. And then I went and I switched the wardrobe up a little bit, I went from sweats to just the tights, and
Yeah.
I was flying through that circle.
Sure.
You know, so I was aerodynamic as all get up. You know.
Yeah. No.
Took the mullet off. I took the pants off, and I just different man.
And you were ready to rock.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Speed through the circle.
Speed through the circle.
So you had to conquer some adversity here. I'd say day one, it was very obvious you probably had the worst sunburn on the team. And I don't know if anybody else took that title from you the rest of the trip. Did the burning skin affect you at all?
Not really, no. Great aloe, shout out Lizzie. Really the only reason I was able to function. We also didn't realize the whole throwing thing was just going to be in direct sunlight for like 5 hours. So we were just kind of sticking there.
Yeah.
And came back, and I mean, me, Liv, and Vic were just completely cooked.
Yeah.
I seem to have gotten it the worst. And I still have really bad tan lines, so it's it's really bad. But it did make a difference. We put a ton of sunscreen on, invested heavy in the SPF 50.
Sure.
And now we're good.
That's awesome, man. Feeling good now.
Yeah, we're peeling.
Peeling.
We're peeling like crazy.
Peeling and feeling good.
Peeling and feeling good.
baby.
Yep.
That's good. Well, so take us through the trip. It's our first time ever as a program going down to Myrtle Beach. I don't know. From beginning to end, did it meet your expectations? What were some of the highlights? Why don't you tell us a little bit, about your experience as a whole?
It was so sick. The trip was a ton of fun. Me and Debbie got to drive the first, down on the first ride, and that was awesome because, shout out Debbie, I would not have been able to drive that first leg in the morning.
Yeah.
He took that, and then I drove the rest, and it was awesome. It was just nice to be able to be in a van with just all the throwers in it, and we just kind of bonded a lot. I shared a room with 3 freshmen.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I'm a senior, and so it was definitely I felt like the old guy for a while. I mean, they're making jokes. I don't even know what's being said.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
No, I know
So,
what that's like. Yeah.
But then I started to kind of fit in, and yeah, it was a great environment. They were awesome. The throwers went out one night, and just got to kind of walk around the town.
Is that when you guys went to walk one night? What night did you go to?
We went. It was the ground beef night. It was when I yelled at everybody to not touch my ground beef.
Is that when the mini golf night?
No, it was another night. We went.
Oh.
We went out it was the day before competition, and we wanted to get some food. So
that's
we
why
went
it wasn't. Right. That's right.
Hit the Lord's food, got some McChickens, and
Yep.
then we went on the town, and we just found these just wild stores, and they were just awesome. They just had every memorabilia Myrtle Beach wise you could imagine, and it was awesome. Just great, hilarious people. And then competition was awesome. Seeing everybody else, it was split up enough to where we could essentially see all of our teammates compete, and running back and forth between Liv's disc throw and then sprinting over to watch Chewy's 200 and then sprinting back to watch Liv's second disc throw was super awesome. So we got to see a bunch of we just got to support everyone, and I thought it was awesome. And then that ride back was rough. We blew a tire.
Yep, flat tire.
But shout out throwers, we lifted a van.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was pretty sick.
Yeah, well, yeah, you guys. Yeah, so we blew a tire. I saw it in my rear view, so I called them immediately, and I was like, "What's going on?" We blew a flat, so I was like, "Oh shoot," we and I had to go up an exit. These highways these exits are miles apart, right? So I had to go up an exit. I dropped people off at a Starbucks, and then I came back down 2 exits because I had to come back going up north. So by the time I got to them, it was 20, 25 minutes. And they were literally finishing putting on the tire. I was impressed not only that you could do it, but the efficiency of which the tire got on there was incredible. So, yeah, definitely shout out to the throwers van. And
awesome.
that was also our cargo van. It had all of our stuff in it. So it's not even we could have left you guys there, honestly.
No.
But do you have one highlight, whether that's a story? I mean, it could be athletic or non-athletic. Just one story you would tell that you're not going to forget from this trip.
Well, athletically, I think the coolest, it's not really a story, it's just moment, is when you just have that feeling of just releasing a good throw.
Sure.
And you go out, and then your whole team is sitting there waiting to hear it, and then they finally are they release the number 37-18, and everybody's like, holy crap,
Yeah,
like, and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
losing their mind. So that's an awesome moment, and just getting to experience that, like, I mean, I was first place in the meet for a minute.
That's
so,
right.
like...
58th in the nation, baby.
58th in the nation right here.
For the weekend. For the week, actually. I think it was as of March 21st, you were 58th in the nation.
Let's go. And, like, Liv's second in the nation, Chewy's, like, 10th in the nation, whatever, but 58 is a cooler number, so shout out to 58s all around the world.
I agree.
Me, Harold Landry, football player, that's...
58.
We're 58s.
Yeah.
But no, my favorite moment from the trip was definitely when we had a beach day. And it was like the first moment we showed up, and it was like right as we pull up, nobody else is there. Throwsville was making a crazy time, and we're like 20 minutes ahead of everybody else. And me, Vic, Will, and Dylan and Davi get out of the car, and we're just like, dude, we're going in the water. Like, there's nothing stopping us. And, like, I mean, we go and there's this little, like, drop-off, and we didn't see the drop-off. And so me and Davi hit the drop-off and, like, almost eat it on the way down. And then sprint into the water. We dove in, and that water was freezing.
Yeah.
And, and like, Vic and them followed, and we're, like, unloading everybody's stuff from the van as they're pulling up, just, like, soaking wet with like, oceans. And it was just, like, such a cool moment to be, like, we were, like, FaceTiming everyone. We were, like, this is so sick. Let's go. The house was awesome. So it was a great moment of that trip. It was a great way to start off.
That's awesome, man. Well, Noah and I know we give each other a hard time a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I often question the amount of respect, I have on this.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But I do need to say publicly and on the record, this guy works incredibly hard, and I've been cheering for that breakthrough moment for you for about a year and a half now. I've seen the frustration, the pain on your face on too many occasions after competitions, and I know that comes from a deep desire to have one of these moments. So, and that's what makes this sport terrific, right? Is that when you have those moments, it doesn't matter whether you're first, doesn't matter, like, nobody can take that moment away from you when they finally announce. Like, it was not only the great feeling of moving through the circle well and releasing well, but then having the gratification of, yes, that was 3 meters farther than I've ever thrown before, and all this work that led up to that point was totally worth it. And so, again, this is why we like doing these podcasts, we like having these conversations, because it's a reminder of why we love this sport in the first place, right, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. So what else stood out to you from the Myrtle race? I know we've got to talk about Rachel Brennan.
We do need to talk about Rachel, yeah, definitely.
She had a great weekend as well, but other standout highlights from the trip.
We have a top 5 list on all time for Gordon College. We had 23 new top 5 marks. So we had 23 marks adjusted in our top 5. So I think that's really impressive. We had 8 school records. Amaris Goodwin continued her kind of just momentum. I have to say this about her too. She ended last year in the 200 at 25:51. Opened this indoor season 25:51. Then she ran 25:18 in 2 meets in a row. Then she finished 24:99 and then opened outdoor in 24:99. I've never seen. I mean, if you look at her T-First profile, you probably think something's wrong with the website. But again, I'd take that consistency as a huge positive for her. Not only that, but she also had a huge PR and broke the school record with a 12:06, made finals in the 100. I think some other people I got to shout out. Jenna Lindsay's a stud freshman, third all-time in the 400 with her 60.62, big PR in the 2. Lizzie Gaskell actually had a big day with a PR in the 200, college best in the 100. Probably her best long jump she's ever had. She was just a foot behind the board, and she still jumped 5:03. Chewy ran 10:90 and was the first Gordon athlete to go sub-11 in the 100. I got to give Justin a shout out for a great anchor leg. Jack Whittlesley had a great 3K. Let's see, Joseph broke the school record in the 3K as well. Gosh, okay, and I got 2 more people. I know it was just such a big meet. I got 2 more people from Myrtle I wanted. Olivia Garrity, who Noah shouted out earlier, she was ranked second in the nation in hammer. She had a big PR, almost 3 meters in the hammer, 49 something. And then Carolyn Day ran 2 events that she doesn't typically run in the 15 and in the 800. Both PR'd in both of those, and were both top 5 marks for Gordon, all time. So we definitely took advantage of the opportunity to compete in a big meet. And so I'm satisfied with that. I'm really happy with that, because one of the things we said all week was this is going to feel like a family road trip, but it's also a business trip, because we've got, there's a purpose behind it. And I think we experienced all of those, emotions of those types of trips in this trip, because we had flat tires, people got annoyed with each other, our mini golf competitiveness. But, we kind of experienced a little bit of everything, and then at the end of the week, I was really proud of how we focused up and were able to really compete well at a high level, and it was exciting.
Yeah, well, and I guess that's the risk in listing names off, is that you might
I definitely
got to make sure you catch everybody.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
but that's
right.
a good problem to have. That means there were so many standout performances.
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
yes. So Rachel, we actually wanted to get her on the pod. So Rachel became the first indoor track and field All-American. She became the first team All-American that our program has ever had when she got 8th in the mile in indoor. So while the entire team was down in Myrtle, she was up in Rochester, New York, running at Indoor Nationals for Division III. And so, yeah, it was just overall, it was a big weekend for the program, because I felt like this trip was a big deal, but then Rachel continues somehow to just keep raising the bar and raising her level of competitiveness. And I just have to say how impressive it is for someone who, obviously All-American in cross country, focuses on the 10K and outdoor. In indoor, can go all the way down to running the mile and still be 8th overall in the nation. I think she learned a lot in terms of race strategy, and her coach, Corden Luco, has just done a phenomenal job of preparing her well. And that was the other thing, that running the mile, not only it showed the world, it displayed her talent, that she's not just a distance monster, but that she's got some speed and she can run strategically and tactically. But yeah, it also sets her up well she's leaving, we're recording this on a Monday, she leaves in 2 days to go to St. Louis in one of the more competitive 10Ks in the nation, to set herself up for nationals at the end of outdoor season. So, honestly, I continue to be impressed with her, and it's surprising that I'm already so impressed, and she finds a new thing to be impressive with, right? So yeah, I do need to give her credit, showing her talents, but also got to give Coach Luco credit, because he has set her up well, not only to get the accolades that she has, but then set her up to finish her career really well.
I think he set the entire distance team up.
That's right.
As well.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I know he's done a great job. So,
Yep.
On that note,
Yep.
looking ahead to this weekend,
Yep.
Most of the team will be at
Yep.
Tufts, correct?
That's correct. Weather doesn't look great as we record this on a Monday. It'd be much better if the meet was on Friday. So, Tufts, if you're listening, and we really know that you are, please move the meet to Friday if you can. But yeah, so weather looks tough on Saturday. We might hold some people back because of that, and that was one of the reasons why going to Myrtle Beach really afforded us that luxury to be a little bit more choosy, especially early in the season, and in what events that we end up doing, because people already got really good marks to start the season. So we're going to be thoughtful with what we do on Saturday, and hoping the weather turns to make it a better day for everybody.
Well, I know when I was coming in here, you were talking to Lizzie about the weather and everything.
Right.
Are those serious discussions that are happening? Or are they going to possibly move it? Or
I don't know about. The Tufts thing. I don't know if they're going to actually move it, but I do know I'm having a serious discussion in my brain about changing our training schedule, and who needs to compete given the conditions versus can we get a better week of training in if we stayed back, right? Because we can get some training in indoors, and again, the reason why this weekend or going to Myrtle Beach was so pivotal is because now we can make these decisions, right? We don't feel the pressure, the urgency to get these competitions in and force a bad weather meet. You know, we can say, oh, like we already got a mark. Let's train and set ourselves up for the end of the season, which really matters the most. You know.
So quality over quantity. Then.
Exactly.
All right.
So,
are you competing this weekend?
Hopefully.
That's the plan.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's
All right.
the plan. Myrtle Beach was just the beginning. We're gonna break that school record.
41, baby.
41, get to New England, and then 43.33.
Also, when we post this, you got to post it. You got to send him the picture.
Oh,
The Will Chamberlain.
my Will
58
Chamberlain pick.
58 pick.
58, yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Love it.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll get some competition in
I hope
this
so,
weekend
too,
with the weather. But we'll see you then.